Tuesday night and the last home game for the Mason Comets boys basketball team as they head into tournament play next week. But for this one, the second matchup against the Lakota East Thunderhawks. These schools only 10 miles apart, so a lot of personal familiarity between these students, a lot of whom are first or second year of varsity ball at West Claremont or Milford. But tonight will be the Comets taking on the Thunderhawks. I'm Ben Haller alongside Evan Amazon.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting game, certainly. These two teams last met on December 14th, where the Thunderhawks destroyed the Comets 78-52, and that was a game where Mason shot 1 for 13 from threes, and Lakota East shot 6 for 12. So that right there kind of already tells you the difference in that one.
And Lakota East averaging almost 70 points per game. That's number one in the GMC, and shooting 51% from the field, 42% from three also leads the GMC. And Mason, they like to rebound a little bit, especially offensively. They lead the GMC in offensive rebounds and almost 10 per game. They don't have the most size on the court, but they have a lot of guys that work hard and show some effort. Evan, what players are you looking for in this matchup?
Well, for the Comets, Alex Kelling, he's one of those guys. He's not super flashy. He didn't really get much playing time at the beginning of the year, but he can knock down three-pointers, and he showed that really well, averaging 6.2 a game, and he's been one of the main bright spots for the Comets, really overperforming this year than what he was kind of expected to do coming in.
Yeah, it wasn't even a varsity player coming into the season. He was a JV guy that finally swung him with a couple of injuries, and he made the most out of his opportunities.
A good start to the Comets by Alex Morton, their leading scorer, with 14.3 a game, as Lakota East taking the ball up. Their starters Atkins, Keinrich, Kronagi, Peck, and Perry.
And this Mason team is going to start out with that 1-2-2 zone. That's a big reason for their success recently.
That's a long three-pointer from Jack Kronagi, showing off his range, and he really has a nice shot. One of the better three-point shooters in this conference.
Yeah, Kronagi's someone, played a lot of varsity minutes as only a sophomore last season, so he's very experienced, and he's got a future too. Great combination.
He's got an easy 5 now.
Take a look at that 3 once again, and that's a college 3 right there from Kronagi. He wasn't right on the line.
Maybe even an NBA 3 on that one.
Close, but there's an injury in the corner. I believe it might be the freshman Trey Perry. Had a tremendous season. Like I said, only a freshman, very rare in a conference as good as the GMC, but he's averaging 7.3 points per game. A really solid role player for this Thunderhawks team, and this is someone they don't want to see down. And we're looking at Charlie Kenrick here. Last year, didn't get a whole lot of playing time, and a lot of that was due to injuries, and they're a really good team, but second most rebounds per game in the GMC. He rebounds very well, and you can see there, 14 points per game. He kind of does it all. Star football player, going to play some Big Ten football next season, so he can do it both on the basketball court too. And especially as a senior, it's rare to see someone that good at football, that good of a recruit. He still likes to play those two sports, multi-sport athlete, and I think that speaks to the culture of Lakota East basketball.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big program. They've been good for a while, and yeah, it definitely shows a lot when a player's willing to stick with his teammates, even though he's playing some football at Purdue next year. That's going to be tipped out of bounds, so Lakota East up 5-2 on 5 points from Jack Kronagi, who had the 3, and then the breakaway layup off the steal.
Well, in the first meeting, you talked about the three-point shooting difference, but another big key to that game was Lakota East press. Mason could not handle it, double-digit turnovers, and that's something they really worked on in practice this week, is trying to beat that Lakota East press.
That three-pointer from Middleton in the corner is good. So Comets matching the Thunderhawks early. We're all knotted up at 5.
Middleton averaging almost 10 points per game, and he didn't play basketball last season. He took a step away, played some rec basketball, and we saw that last year with someone with Max Johnson. And when you see two people do it, you don't think it's as hard, but it is very hard to come off a season not even playing and then coming into a conference like the GMC and having a year like he is.
Yeah, Malumba checking into the game with a drive and a nice dish. And that's going to be Nathan Atkins, the coach's kid.
Nate Atkins, known as a three-point shooter, but when you got an open look down low, I mean, he's not going to pass that up. He can finish inside.
So Olam on the outside. Now Jake Hanley will attempt a three. He knocks it down. So the Comets shooting the ball well early, and that's key because some games they've really struggled from the three-point line.
Yeah, Hanley coming into the year, we didn't know if he was going to be as much of a three-point threat, but shooting 33% from beyond the arc on the season, you know, as a center, that's valuable for a team. But first, it was his point guard, Todd Middleton, in the corner. Guards in the corners, they seem to like that spot from three. But how about Hanley from the top of the key? And Lakota East is able to get a bucket to go.
Yeah, quick layup on a steal.
That was Kobe Peck.
For Peck, yeah.
Now you can already see a difference in this game from last time as it's gotten off to a closer start. Lakota East came out firing last time these two played, and it took Mason a little bit of a run to even be close into that game, and they couldn't get anything. Lost that game by 26.
Hey, good job by Alex Morton finishing down low. So already a lot of lead changes here early. Skip pass all the way to the corner. That's out of bounds on the Thunderhawks, so will be Comets basketball.
A lot of times in a zone, one of the big weaknesses is three-point shooting, but Mason has really modified this zone in practice this week to be able to guard Lakota East out on the perimeter. So that's something to look forward to going forward. And we talked about how they rebound well, so rebounding in the zone isn't going to be as big of an issue as most teams would be.
Trying to find Olam down low. Morton will get it and have an ugly shot there. He was open, but just misfired.
He was open, but it was kind of forced. And Kronagi, he's got some range.
Yeah, Kronagi didn't do a ton against Mason the first time they played, but man, he's shooting the ball lights out tonight.
Well, he's a guy, he grew up in Mason, went to St. Susanna for grade school, spent his first year of high school at St. Xavier, and Manker can't get the and one to go, but he'll go to the line. As we take a look at it again. Just a poise and the kick from Adkins, shooter to shooter connection. He's almost out of bounds on that one. And you can make modifications to get out on the three-point line, but asking the guard that far out is almost impossible. And there's our player to watch checking into the game now, Alex Kelling for the Comets. Or no, Ben Golan, excuse me. Kelling still on the bench after a 1-for-2 trip for Manker.
Yeah, Golan had 14 points, played pretty well last time these two teams met. So now Peck swinging it to Malumba. And Middleton smartly coming out on Kronagi a little bit, not going to give him any room.
Yep, they played some shooters last time. Their last game against Sycamore, they had Charlie Hall, Ben Sutherland, guys who can really shoot the ball well, and they kind of learned their lesson a little bit. Some big threes, some daggers that Sycamore hit late in the game. But they're playing good aggressive defense so far tonight. I mean, Lakota East has scored a lot, but it's like, that's just how good of an offense they have.
Another long three from Kronagi, this time a little bit too strong. And this Comets team is much improved than they were last time. They've won 4 out of their last 5 and played a game down to the wire against Sycamore, who's at the top of the GMC right now.
And I can't tell you I can't stress the importance of changing their defense when some teams just aren't built to play man-to-man defense. They're undermatched. They have a lot of bad matchups. And this Mason team crafted up a zone. It's not a traditional zone. It's more of a 1-2-2, and it has really worked. Ever since switching to that zone, they have a record of 4-1. And that one loss was to Sycamore, who, like I said, top of the GMC, and they almost won.
Kelling knocks down the three. The Comets get the lead again. Like you said, that zone defense pretty good for the Comets, and also works pretty well for our rec team. But that's just more like we're too lazy to play man, so we just kind of play zone.
I'm not necessarily in shape to play man-to-man defense, so I'm very fortunate for that.
And what a back and forth start. I mean, a lot of threes, just some good basketball early on, and it's exactly what you want if you're the Comets right now.
Well, you can talk about Mason's defense, but on offense, you can tell they're playing with more confidence, and a lot of that's led by Kelling. And this Mason team in the middle of the season was on a deep skid. And when you lose 4 or 5 straight, that 6th game, I mean, it's hard to have any confidence going into games like that, and it's hard to win when you don't have confidence. So playing some of those lesser GMC teams like Coleraine and Middletown was big for them.
Yeah, and at the beginning of this year, I mean, certainly a young team as well. So almost you kind of lose a couple, and maybe this team has a mentality like, we've already lost a few. We're kind of just, we don't have anything to lose right now, and kind of takes the pressure off themselves a little bit.
Yeah, well, Lakota East, or excuse me, Mason's not playing for a GMC title. The bracket's already out. So like I said, nothing to lose. Not a lot of pressure on a game like this, so you can kind of go out and play your own brand of basketball, and if you lose, then it's not the end of the world. But you got
good cut from Kelling, but that's going to be one that he wanted back there.
Got to make the bunnies. I mean, you're not going to beat a really good Lakota East team like this if you're missing wide open layups, and that's something this Lakota East team does well. They take advantage of mistakes that the other team makes. But you also look at Jaden Coles, who's not available for this game for Lakota East. He's one of the top players for the Thunderhawks, out with an injury right now. Anchor from the corner. Shooter's touch, Evan.
Yeah, he gets the nice roll there. And the Comets with 17 points already in the first quarter. Last time they had 52 in the whole game. And how about the block there from Jake Hanley?
Jake Hanley, dead eye. You're not going to see a lot of excitement out of him, but you can tell inside. He was hyped after that one. And Ben Manker, Mason's loving that corner spot. You know, not a lot of times you get some help from the backboard when you're in the corner, but lucky bounce for him. And Comets lead by 5 with a minute to go in this first. But you can't leave Nate Atkins open, and fortunately, it doesn't make him pay.
And now Kelling bringing the ball up for the Comets under a minute, trying to extend the lead here at the end of the first quarter. Now Golan will drive, a nice little dump off to Morton, but he loses it. Tied up with Kobe Peck, but the Comets will get a timeout before.
Yep, and you can see there, that's the difference in this game. Mason getting on the ground first. You can tell they're really invested to win this game. And like we said, they don't have a lot to lose, but that's also like sometimes a lot of teams won't play with, there's not a whole lot of incentive. But really the only thing driving this game is that rivalry. They're only a few miles apart. And you look at Kelling, already hit a 3 tonight. 7 for 14 in the last 2 games from the field, 6 for 10 from 3. You know, maybe I'm not the biggest basketball expert, but 60% from 3 sounds good to me, Evan.
Yeah, especially for this Comets team. It's been a little bit of a struggle all year for them from the 3-point line. Coming into this game, they're only shooting 29.9% from the perimeter. So having a guy that can step up off the bench and hit a couple threes is huge for this team. Comets working through their offense.
Lakota East doing what a lot of GMC teams do and switching screens in this flex offense. Mason's got a plan for when teams switch and don't switch.
Morton, just about 15 to go. Jake Hanley with a nice turnaround jumper. And just everything's falling for the Comets so far.
5 points for the sophomore, and the sophomores tonight have 12 combined points. Getting help from the youth and future the future for Mason looking bright. But Kenrick will go to the line.
Yeah, that's going to be a matchup that Lakota East has to exploit. Kenrick, one of the most physical players in the GMC, very hard to guard down low. And he was the biggest issue for the Comets last time these teams played. Had a double-double. I think Lakota East just needs to go inside. I think Kobe Peck's trying to do a little bit too much off the dribble early. Oh, and Alex Morton hits the rim. Almost got that one to go from deep. So at the end of the first quarter, Mason Comets off to a hot start in this GMC rival, up 19-13.
Hello everyone and welcome to ICRC TV Sports. Three-pointer.
Got it! In for the Comets score. Comets win! Yeah!
Hi, I'm Clark Kellogg. I've attended basketball games from coast to coast over the years as a participant, broadcaster, parent, and fan. And believe me, I've seen my share of unsporting behavior. The purpose of school sports is for kids to have fun, develop their skills, and learn lessons that will last a lifetime. So when you attend a school contest, please keep that in mind. Remember to behave in a way that reflects positively on your child, your school, and your community. Let's respect the game.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
It's hard because... Welcome back to Mason Arena, the last regular season home game for the Mason Comets. And they host their local rival, the Lakota East Thunderhawks, here on Middle School Basketball Appreciation Night. And cool for the middle schoolers getting to go on the court, get some recognition. And watching our high school team play a pretty good first quarter, Evan.
Yeah, I mean, that's really all you can ask for the Comets. Pretty good job defensively, other than a couple Kronagi three-pointers. And offensively, everyone's getting involved from the outside. They're doing a good job getting to the block as well and working inside. I mean,
Morton.
It's the best they've shot in any game all year.
Yep, and it's only the first quarter. That first quarter went by quick. Not a whole lot of fouls, 3 total fouls. And Kobe Peck, speaking of fouls.
That's his second, both on Kobe Peck, and that's huge for the Comets. So right now, Peck's going to check out of the game, so no Kobe Peck, no Jaden Coles, and no Trey Perry for the Thunderhawks. Pretty depleted offensively.
And Lakota East is going to go with a bigger lineup in this one, so you got to think the three-point ball for the Thunderhawks is not as much of a threat here.
You still got to watch Adkins and Kronagi, though.
Bachman as well, top of the key, newly checked in for the Thunderhawks. And Adkins on the corner. He's going to dribble it back out. Malumba trying to make a play, and Morton's coming all the way up to defend him. Kronagi and Bachman just passing back and forth. He thought about a three. And Malumba kick, another deep three taken by Kronagi, this time left short. But there's the rebounding and toughness from Kenrick, but he misses the layup. Manker finally grabs the board at an empty trip for the Thunderhawks. Morton from the corner now. Can't get that to go. And
Olam almost got that tip in over Kenrick.
Yeah. Adkins kicks to Kronagi, takes a step back three, and Kronagi's gone cold a little bit after his first two makes, and strong rebound for Ben Manker. That one's coming on Malumba.
It's a good job by Manker, holding on to the ball and drawing the foul. But with that last Kronagi three, I understand he's capable of making them, and he's made a couple early, but he's gone a little bit cold. I'd like to see him drive a little bit, because he had a lot of space on that and just stepped back and took the three, and he could have gotten into the lane and made a play instead.
Yeah, Mason slows down after transition, and that pass telegraphed, picked off. Kronagi in transition, an easy 2 points for him. And that's the first basket for either team in the second quarter.
Yeah, that turnovers were the downfall for the Comets the last time they played Lakota East, and that's what Lakota East wants. They want to go in transition, get those quick buckets.
Olam in the corner. This Lakota East defense has stepped it up in the second quarter. Hanley with some tight defense from Kroenage. Going to lob it inside to Olam, and that's not the pass you want if you're the Comets, especially with the help defense from Lakota East. And they return the favor. Middleton with the steal, and he's going to take the pull-up three. A little too strong. And it'll go out of bounds in Lakota East direction. So it might be good for both teams to slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, a little sloppy for both teams. And Middleton, he had some room there, instead elected take the pull-up threes. He's capable of making, but also had some room to drive, kind of take a little floater, kind of same what Kroenage had a couple possessions ago for the Thunderhawks.
So after a very offensive first quarter, both teams have calmed down a little bit. Only 2 points for either team in this game, in the second quarter, excuse me. 19-15, Thunderhawks trail. And another tip pass for Mason.
LeBron Powell, the junior, coming in for Lakota East as well.
Malumba, another deep three for Kroenage. You sound like a broken record, but you can tell his confidence. He went cold a little bit, but you got to have a short-term memory if you're a shooter. That's 11 points now for Jack Kroenage as Mason keeps possession.
Yeah, Lakota East is going to have to find some offense elsewhere, though. I mean, Kroenage with 11 out of their 18. I think Kendrick can really get involved down low, and Daniel Malumba, very good athlete defensively, and I mean he can convert some big plays into offense, and he's shown his explosiveness and at the rim a couple times against the Comets last time they played.
Yeah, Morton's going to draw the foul and go to the line. A nice pass from Golan, and I didn't see a whole lot of contact on that one. Morton got bailed out a little bit there, but he'll take the free throws. He knocks down the first. Morton leading this Comets team with 14.3 points per game. He's had his up and down games, but overall been pretty consistent for this Comets squad that's had a whole lot of inconsistencies, and he gets 2 to go there.
Yeah, it seems like he's kind of picked it up, improved kind of every game throughout the year as well.
Now Powell and Malumba playing some two-man ball. Gonna look inside to Kenrick, and that's what Lakota East needs to do, get the ball inside, and Kenrick just throws it away. Another turnover for Lakota East. But they're gonna stick with this press, and for the majority of times in basketball, when you press, it's after a made shot or a turnover or something like that where the other team has to take it out of bounds and not on missed shots. So that's where directly Lakota East having some more offense can help their defense. And there's Coach Richards, and these two teams are number 1 and 2 since Mason joined the GMC in overall record. Coming into the season, Lakota East was only ahead by 1 game. I think they got a little bit more of a margin here after this season, but you know, that 1 year is not going to do a whole lot. And Mason returns the favor with a turnover of their own.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty impressive what the Comets have done since joining the GMC. They were kind of a smaller school at the time when they joined, but now they've just grown so much and became a really big school. And it's a really good rivalry. I mean, both these schools super close to each other. I mean, both of us live closer to Lakota East, even though we go to Mason.
Yep. And a missed shot out of bounds, and Adkins is not happy about the no call there. Thought he got fouled on his little floater. We'll take a look at it again, but Manker took a spill first, and then Manker with a little bit of a push. I think Adkins has a point there, but they'll play on.
Yeah, especially with the call that they gave Morton where it didn't seem like much contact. Lakota East won't like that one, but out Jake Hanley running the floor, the big man breaking the press there, extending the lead to 5 for the Comets.
Well, that's what Mason's been working on all week in practice, is how to beat this press and even turn it into some offense of their own. The Kroenage now setting the offense up for the Thunderhawks. Over halfway to go in the second quarter. And the kick out to Adkins, thought about a 3. They did a nice job on Adkins, but Kronagi's got a few too many good looks. And that's going to come back to bite them. They always tell you never save the ball under your own hoop or under the other team's hoop unless you know who's there. And that gets Lakota East 2 easy points.
And Middleton turnaround jumper does not get it to go. And it looks like Atkins holding his head.
That's
So he's okay.
not a good sign. That's already the second injury we've seen for Lakota East tonight.
Ben, let's go back to that play where he saves it under his own hoop.
You know, you only hope he's okay if you're a Thunderhawk fan, especially heading into the playoffs. But here, Hanley at the rebound, but you could see there's 3 Thunderhawks there, and maybe he thought he got it to Olam, but you know, you're throwing 89 on the baseball field. Maybe threw it a little too hard at Olam's hands, and Lakota East going to take that one for 2 easy points.
Yeah, Peck misses the 3, coming back in the game after 2 fouls. It's been a little frustrating for him all night. One of the better scorers on this team, just unable to get it to go. And that'd be huge for the Thunderhawks if he can get going with his 2 fouls. And if you're the Comets, got to go inside, and you love for Kobe Peck to pick up his 3rd here before the end of the first half.
Yeah. Speaking of fouls, Malumbo will head to the line with a nice cut. Not sure who the foul's on. There were a lot of Comets in the area, so it'll come on Hanley. Luckily, that's only his first. That's only his 2nd team foul on the Comets. And Malumba will shoot 2 now. High arcing make on that one. It's 3 points for him tonight.
Yeah, only a 61% free throw shooter on the year, but he gets the first one.
And talking more about this rivalry, a lot of times when you see 2 teams, if you go back since when Mason joined the GMC, these 2 teams have been very evenly matched, but it hasn't been they trade wins. It's been more streaky. Lakota East has won the last 6, and then before that, Mason had won 7 in a row. So it's very back and forth. It's a rivalry of runs for sure. And the Manker turnaround. Couldn't get that to go. Kronagi, another deep 3. He likes that spot, but
yeah, they could put Kronagi in that NBA 3-point contest, and he'd be taking all those shots from the left wing, and he'd probably win. He'd be up there with Steph Curry right now.
That's his 4th 3 of the game. He's 4 for 7. And he's got to watch it. He might get out of bounds one of these times, how deep he's taking these 3s. But, you know, he must have some experience from that spot. And Richards wants to talk things over, take a timeout. Lakota East grabs their first lead of the 2nd quarter. And Richards is very frustrated with his team.
Yeah, probably frustrated about that 3. Can't live Kronagi. Can't give him any room, and it'll come back to bite you. And Olam had to close out just kind of a half-second late, and it's all Kronagi needs, just a little bit of space. And these Mason Comets coming in 9-10 on the year. They started 1-8 in the GMC, but they've really improved since then, winning 4 out of their last 5. A couple wins against Oak Hills, a win against Middletown, and a win against Hamilton. And they're playing Edgewood, the 18 seed, at West Claremont.
Yep. That'll be an interesting one. Like you said, 14-18, that's a close matchup, and out of the gate, Adkins can't convert. He doesn't miss a whole lot of those open ones. Now Morton tries to convert in transition, and Ben Manker knocks down the quarter 3. And Manker's starting to play with a little more confidence.
Yeah, but that was all set up by the pass from Alex Morton. A really nice fake, kind of a no-look, and got Manker right in the pocket and just hit a big one. And another lead change as the Comets take it back here.
Yeah, you can tell. These teams, 2 teams really want this game, even though the bracket's not out yet. And there's going to be a moving screen there on Bachman. He's not sure what that call was about, but I mean, you take a look at it. Bachman maybe hedged a little bit with his arm. And we get that arm action, that's an easy call for the officials.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, maybe a no call, but I mean, recently there's been a lot of emphasis in offensive fouls, screens, especially kind of charges and push-offs as well. So,
and maybe a little bit of a heat check for Manker, and it's back iron, but Lakota East on the other end. And we saw a very big offensive foul call last Mason game against Sycamore. There was a controversial moving screen call that came on Ben Manker, and you just 3-4 years ago, you didn't see that happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a new game. Kind of the way it's called. That a foul there on Alex Kelling. Playing a little bit too aggressive on Kronagi.
Yeah.
But
that's better than giving up 3 easy points, especially when you only have 3 team fouls.
Yeah, can't really blame him. Only his first as well. As Kendrick with the offensive rebound. He's too strong again on the putback. Doesn't even draw iron on that shot.
Alex Kelling thought about a deep 3. It'll just be Middleton now, setting up the offense with 30 seconds left. Mason might hold for the last shot.
Off the ref there.
Usually you see that's an out of bounds call no matter where the ref is, but luckily for the Comets, maybe different OHSAA rules, and a pull-up jumper for Middleton.
Well, Ben, you have the book. Are you giving the ref the assist on that one?
You know, I'm not going to give him the assist for it just because he was behind the play, but if it was a play that would have helped out the Pets a little bit, maybe. And right before the buzzer, Kenrick converts to finish off a 2-point game in the first half. The Comets lead 28-26 over the Lakota East Thunderhawks. Richards not happy with that last play, but got to be overall happy with their play in the first half. Stay with us for the second half action here on ICRC.
Leaves us with the next item on our agenda is item number 5, opening session.
I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. If you're out here at the parade or listening, thank you again. Into the end zone, and that is caught by Jaden Wood. Come on now, how we doing? Y'all feeling all right out there?
Hello, and welcome to this edition of This is Glendale. I'm Bet Chorus.
Hey guys, this is the Unit 1 crew from Woodlawn Fire Department. We just want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And of course, you can always go to ICRCTV.com.
Always a great day when ICRC is involved.
Another edition of ICRC, bringing the community to you.
Coffee first, then I have to get those agendas out.
Lasagna tonight, chicken tomorrow. Do we still have potatoes?
Matthew's got a baseball practice at 6.
I should really do laundry tonight.
People with jobs, with families, with someplace to be. Let's help each other by safely sharing the road. Tri-State Trails, connecting what moves us.
You made your house a reality. Homeschooling yourself on loans, color-coding listings, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. If you can ace house hunting, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. There's just one place where a team is more than a group of individual agendas. It's a catalyst for demonstrating the potential of the collaborative spirit. There's just one place where players, coaches, and fans experience the exhilaration that happens when an entire community rallies behind the school team. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes are more likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. In addition, high school sports help young people in Ohio develop the discipline and confidence they need to be leaders in life, even as they unite communities like nothing else. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Hi, I'm Doug Ute, Executive Director of the Ohio High School Athletic Association. The OHSAA seeks to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in all of our athletic programs and is dedicated to working towards making sure they are free from any form of discrimination, harassment, and bullying. We strive to make all of our student athletes feel welcome and safe. Please join me in helping create an environment that emphasizes respect, teamwork, and understanding in order to build a culture that celebrates both the accomplishments and the uniqueness of all of our participants.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. Now anything but lonely.
We have this like deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with Turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a little bit of a lot of things.
But they're all pure love.
Do you want to retire like a champ? Just like legendary basketball star Uncle Drew?
Don't do him like that, Uncle Drew!
You're already acing the game. You've got your dream ride.
Don't be slamming my door.
Sorry about that.
You just did the same.
Gotta get the boys. Your dream vacation and your dream team. And now you can make your retirement just as legendary.
I get buckets.
Get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
What's your favorite high school sports memory? A late inning rally? A game-winning shot? A photo finish? Maybe it's a pep rally or a pregame ritual. Maybe it's the euphoria of a late-night bus ride home after a hard-fought win. Maybe it's having pizza with teammates after the game. Now, imagine if it never happened at all. School sports need your help. With budgets getting tighter, it's more than the games that are on the line. It's all the traditions, the community pride, the culture of your hometown high school. Plus, all those memories that are on the line, too. What can you do? It's simple. Buy a ticket when you can. Go to a game. Take the whole family. Let's do everything we can to keep those cherished school sports memories alive.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The year was 1907. The Cubs won the World Series and the Ford Model R hit the assembly line. While here in Ohio, school administrators came together to form the Ohio High School Athletic Association. One thing that hasn't changed since 1907 is the dedication of the OHSAA to education-based athletics in Ohio. School sports teach responsibility, sportsmanship, and life lessons that stay with students long after their playing days are over. The OHSAA seeks to prepare students not for the next level of sport, but for the next level of life.
It's easy to spot people who participated in high school sports and activities.
Right on time.
They learned important lessons like leadership, teamwork, respect.
Hey, our meeting moved to 10.
We'll be ready.
Values that last a lifetime.
We need to focus on 3 factors.
Support high school sports and activities in your community. When kids take part, they get set for life.
Titans go! When the Teen Titans go to the movies, they know the best way to travel is safely.
To keep your child safe, be sure to use the right car seat for their age and size.
Exactly.
Hollywood, here we come! The Atom has arrived!
Have a seat, my dude. For more information on finding the right seat, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Impressive.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Coffee first, then I have to get those agendas out.
Lasagna tonight, chicken tomorrow. Do we still have potatoes?
Matthew's got a baseball practice at 6.
I should really do laundry tonight.
People with jobs, with families, with someplace to be. Let's help each other by safely sharing the road. Tri-State Trails, connecting what moves us.
Hi, I'm Beanie Wells. Whatever the sport, wherever it's played, there's one thing that student athletes, coaches, and fans can all share: sportsmanship. The Ohio High School Athletic Association Respect the Game campaign reminds us that school sports are so much more than wins and losses. On behalf of the OHSAA, let's all do our part to make school sports a fun, positive, and rewarding experience that student athletes will remember for a lifetime. Every game, every time, let's all respect the game.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
On air or online, this is media for your community. This is ICRC TV.
Welcome back to Mason High School for some second half action. Evan Amazon alongside Ben Haller as the Comets are up 28-26 in a game that's been pretty close, a lot of back and forth and a lot of three-pointers for both teams.
Yeah, kind of. We knew Lakota East was going to come into this game and shoot well because they did last time Mason and Lakota East played, but Mason has kind of come out firing unexpectedly. Only scored 9 points in that second quarter, though, so they regressed a little bit offensively, but they're still keeping that defensive intensity.
Yeah, Jack Kronagi for the Thunderhawks, 18 points in the first half, 4 for 7 on three-pointers. And they've needed someone else to step up down low, and that's a good start as Kendrick gets the and one going to the free throw line.
Yeah, it's going to tie this game at 28, and Kendrick's got a chance to put them ahead, but you can just see that big frame. He's going to play some football at Purdue University. Evan, I know that's your favorite team, so.
It's a good one, Ben. You know, Indiana Hoosiers, my team, have 5 championships in basketball, and Purdue has 0. So every time people like talk about Purdue, it usually ends the argument pretty quickly.
Battled for it half court. They finally get it, but Maluma throws it over the head of Kronagi.
And Kronagi in the first half, 4 for 7 on threes. The rest of the team 0 for 6.
Well, they don't have Perry, who got injured in that first quarter, and Jaden Coles is unavailable coming into the game. So those are 2 3-point shooters right there that they don't really have that option. But Peck couldn't get it going, neither could Bachman. So that backcourt of Lakota East is a little stressed, and the Lakota East press finally starting to work against this Mason offense. A 10-second violation. We talked about they worked on that a lot in practice, trying to beat this press. Maybe Lakota East made a modification. Atkins, another one of those shooters that hasn't got going. Henrik inside.
Down low, yeah. 5 points right now in the second half in the first minute.
And he's up to 8 points on the night. And Kenrick, a guy who, if he gets going down low, it's not a guy who's hot and cold because all he plays is inside.
And Manker, tough miss there for the Comets. He was wide open for the three-point line, would have tied the game. Now Lakota East trying to extend their 5-0 run here to start the second half. As Peck will drive, and they're going to get a foul on Jack Olam.
Mason only had 3 team fouls in the first half, so that's not really going to be an issue with any one player that's in foul trouble. They were all for 3 different players, but a couple of early ones here in the third quarter.
Yeah, Peck will take the ball out of bounds, and Kenrick gets the easy layup, and that was just bad defense from Middleton. He was like lined up on the wrong side of him instead of, he wasn't in between his man and the basket. That's what they teach you when you're really little in basketball.
Yeah, the first 2 second half buckets for Kenrick were tough baskets, but that one there was a defensive lapse for the Comets, and Middleton can't make up for it there. Misses on the 3. And just a bad foul for Alex Morton on the other side of the court.
Except the Comets had the halftime lead. The third quarter score right now is Kenrick 7, Comets 0.
Yep. I mean, the Thunderhawks 7. The Thunderhawks have 7 too. No one has scored in the second half for either team that's not named Charlie Kenrick. And Alex Morton's going to pick up 2 quick fouls.
Yeah, just playing a little frustrated. Comets have to settle down here in the second half, make some adjustments, and just, you can't get like Kenrick get the ball that easy inside, or it's going to be a long rest of the game.
Yep. A good trap there, though, and starting to speed Lakota East up a little bit.
A nice cut from Atkins off the feed from Kronagi. And Kronagi requires so much attention at the three-point line that allows for other guys to get open on cuts, as Atkins does there.
Well, that was a perfect screen set there by Kenrick, too, that Atkins was able to go off of. And a nice move by Todd Middleton gets Mason on the board for the first time.
The Comets are going to call a timeout. They're down 5 now off the Middleton layup, but how about the way Kenrick has...
Or that was, I think that was Peck.
Yeah.
Peck on the seal off,
Yeah.
not a conventional screen, but sealing off Middleton from the back there, making sure Atkins had the open lane. And Richards, once again, just like the end of the second half, is not happy about something, the way these Comets have come out.
So how do you think the Comets need to defend Kenrick down low? Is there anything you think they need to change, Ben?
I think Jake Hanley, they've had a few mismatches. We've seen Middleton a lot of times on him down low, and that's not a good matchup for the Comets. If they stick with that zone and find a way to get Hanley around screens, then that's a good sign for the Comets, because Hanley's got the height advantage, doesn't necessarily have the size advantage because of how wide and strong Kenrick is, but I think if Hanley can definitely challenge his shot better than anyone on this Mason team can, and maybe to frustrate Kenrick a little bit too, because you saw what happened in the first half. He missed a couple of bunnies. So moving forward, I think it's just putting Hanley on him and maybe getting him in some foul trouble too.
This will be the Lakota East ball off the Mason. Timeout after the made basket from Middleton.
Now Mason's going to come with a little bit of a press of their own.
Yeah, Peck able to beat it and run by all the Comets as Kenrick with another easy layup, and Comets might want to rethink that little pressure strategy.
Yeah, and when you're having defensive lapses already, I get that Richards wants to change it up a little bit, but sometimes setting all your guys up isn't going to do the trick, and Lakota East is able to tie that one up in Mason's direction. But I mean, how many easy layups is Kenrick going to get? He's a big presence down low too, so it's hard for him to be someone that these defenders miss, but it was a nice cut there. You got to give it to him.
Yeah, perfect pass right in between Olam and Hanley from Kobe Peck. And she hasn't really scored a lot, but he's created a lot of plays offensively.
Yeah, 9 points already just in this third quarter, and the deep three from Middleton misfires. Well, you got to watch it now, and he's open once again. These Lakota East guards are just creating situations where I don't know if it's design defense that Mason has to come up and trap, and that's leaving Kenrick open down low on the other block, but 11 points in this third quarter. We're only halfway through the third quarter, too.
Yeah, Alex Morton answers on the layup, but yeah, we're starting to get flashes of their last matchup where Kendrick just dominated down low at 20 points, I believe. There's another one. So 13 points for Kendrick.
Well, Richards is beside himself right now, and they might need a timeout. Kenrick, time and time again, you can see Manker yelling at his teammates, and that's why Hanley's going to check out, because that's Hanley's one job. When he scored 11 straight, you're going to want to put a certain guy that his one assignment is him and make that 13 now.
And maybe the Comets are going to try to put Ben Golan on Kendrick.
And you can see here, in this 1-2-2 zone, you're always going to have someone cutting baseline, going short corner to short corner, because you know that's a weakness of the zone, but there's usually someone there. Either that's someone that's going to have to get there late, but there's just no one in the area of Kendrick on these corner to corner to short corner cuts.
Yeah, all 5 of those Comets in that play were all just in a little circle around each other. They're just a couple feet away, and that's a problem. You can't, got to spread out on defense, have good spacing offensively and defensively, and just a poor job in his last couple of possessions defensively.
When you want to make your identity that zone defense, lapses like this can't happen, and you're going to have some plays where you give up easy baskets like that, but giving up 4, 5, 6 in a row that's going to cut that identity down real quick. And you can see here they're switching to that man defense now. And the putback's good for Kendrick. So that time, a little bit of a different style, but he still gets 2 points.
Hopefully he doesn't do this to the Hoosiers next year in the good old Oak and Bucket rivalry.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he'll be scoring 14 points in football. Maybe 14 points in third quarter, two touchdowns in the third quarter next year in the Oak Bucket.
You have to get 2 extra points as well, maybe, if he's kicking the field goals.
Yeah. With Kendrick, though, I wouldn't be surprised. He did punt for the Thunderhawk football team.
That's true. Yeah, he did it all in that game against the Comets. Lakota East running their triple option.
Yep. The inbound, Middleton, a nice dish, but Golan just got stuck underneath the rim.
Yeah, by who else?
Charlie Kendrick. There he is, having quite the third quarter. All right, I did some math wrong, too. It's 15 points now in the third quarter for Charlie Kendrick, and I think that one's because Peck got his hand on it, but even if Peck didn't, I think that one still would have hit the bottom of the rim. I don't know, he didn't get a great look, but
I can't remember the last time I've seen a game at any level where a guy's just done nothing in the first half and just dominated so far in the second. I mean, it's kind of unbelievable. I mean, I know there's games like this, but I'm not sure I've seen this to this extent in a while.
Yeah, well, Kendrick coming into the game averaging 7.5 points, only had 3 in the first half, kind of almost on pace, but then he has just totally exploded.
And on that possession, all the Comets were down kind of on Kendrick, and Atkins just walked right in the lane, took an easy pull-up jumper, an 11-point lead from the Thunderhawks. They're winning the third quarter by 13 right now. We still got about 3 minutes to go. Another timeout for the Comets, and I don't think Coach Richards is going to be any happier this time out than he was the last one.
Yeah, because it's the same old, same old. I mean, they do switch it up a little bit in their defense, but they're getting the same results. Some baskets down low, especially from Kendrick. And Lakota East, if you get Kendrick going like this, even with the injuries, the unknown of Perry, Coles should be coming back soon. But you look at them going into the tournament with Kendrick playing like that, you have to be happy going forward. Their first game is against a 32 seed West Claremont. They're a 6 seed. And February 19th is the starting date for them. They got that 6 seed just behind Moeller. That was a big question mark. Who was getting the 5? Was it Moeller? Was it Lakota East? And the second place team in the GCL and a third place team in the GMC.
Yeah, speaking of Lakota East and Moeller, they were supposed to have a huge playoff game a couple of years ago that fortunately got cut short because of COVID, but I believe it was the Final 8 that those two teams are playing back when
Yeah, it was the regional final.
Yep.
And looking at the regions, it was kind of assumed. Obviously, you don't want to assume anything. So that's why the game's played. But a lot of people thought whoever came out of that region would take state. So everyone was looking forward to that game, and that was unfortunately canceled to COVID. And little did we know it'd be a lot more than that. Just that game that got canceled because of COVID.
And the favorite this year for state in Ohio is also coming out of this region, the Cincinnati-Dayton area, Centerville. Man, what a season they've had.
Yep, Cincinnati, Dayton are combined for one region, and I think favorite for the state tournament champions is a bit of an understatement. I don't know if we could say super favorite or almost definite, but
I mean, top 10 nationally ranked right now. For a public school is crazy. As Todd Middleton hits the 3 for the Comets, gets it back to a single-digit Thunderhawks lead, but it's just absolutely remarkable what Centerville has done. Just being a public school in Dayton, and they've always had a pretty good basketball team, but nothing like this.
Yeah, Moeller's had some teams close to this, but I think this is the best team you've seen in Ohio in a long time. Todd Middleton's kind of been the only one keeping Mason in this game. He had a strong first half and knocking down the 3 in there to make sure this deficit doesn't get out of hand and maybe get a chance to make a bit of a comeback here with Kenrick checking out of the game.
And this Comets team last year played the Elks pretty close when they played in that district final game, and not a lot of people would have thought that Centerville, that the winner of that game would be winning state, and that's what happened.
Yep. You know, they had that big 3, and they still have it. And Gabe Cups, Tom House, Rich Rolfe, all 3 of them going to play some high-level college basketball next season.
And any of those guys can get it done. Last year, House is their leading scorer. Now Rolfe's their leading scorer, and Gabe Cups is the highest recruit out of all of them.
So Gabe Cups is the facilitator, the point guard of that team. But Jack Olam turns it over on the other end, and Mason tried to come back with that 3/4 court press with a minute to go in the third.
Yeah, Peck drives. They're going to call a foul on Jack Olam. So already now the 6th team foul on the Comets. And we're still in the third quarter.
I'm not sure where that foul came from. Up top, it was all ball. Maybe he got him on the body.
That seemed like a pretty, I don't know. It's a good effort, clean play, but might have gotten a little bit on the hand there. And it's hard to get those blocks from behind without getting a foul call.
Yeah, Kobe Peck's been very quiet tonight. That's only his 3rd point of the contest, and he's someone who's expected to step up big with the absence of Coles. And if you would have said they have 9 points, they're up 9 points on the Comets, and he only has 3 points, that would have been crazy to hear at the beginning of the game, but Charlie Kenrick is having the game of his life.
Yeah, Peck, their 2nd leading scorer, with 11.4 a game. And again, down low, Lakota East gets it, but that's not Peck. Or excuse me, that's not Kenrick.
Caden Meadows, another big guy inside. They have a lot of size, this Lakota East team does. Not necessarily a lot of height, but you can tell that this team's been in the weight room. And Meadows can't get it to fall, but he'll get 2 free throws out of it and get them both to fall.
Yeah, Meadows does his job, then I'll head to the bench as Kenrick comes back in. With under a minute to go, Malumba guarding Alex Morton. Lakota East still kind of in that kind of mild press there.
I think that was an and one. I think I saw the replay wrong. He got the shot to fall, only got 1 free throw, so the 3-point play is good from Meadows. And this third quarter has totally just fallen apart for the Comets. Middleton maybe gets lucky there with a blocking call.
Yeah, I was going to say, I started to say that was a charge, but let's go back and take a look at the replay and
maybe he was leaning a little bit, but
yeah,
the feet looked
close.
set. The feet looked set.
Yeah, Bachman might have been leaning back a little bit, anticipating the contact, but that was a pretty good job defensively. And usually, you probably get rewarded for that.
Especially high school refs, you're going to see that call the other way a lot of times. But
Comets will take it though. Is down 11, trying to get back within 10 here on the second free throw for Middleton.
No one in this third quarter that's not named Middleton or Morton for the Comets has scored. Middleton now has 7 in this third. Morton has 4. And 11 points isn't terribly offensively, but how bad Mason had defensively in the third quarter just makes it look a lot worse. And uncharacteristic air ball from Kronagi.
Yeah, the Comets' goal kind of, like you mentioned a lot of times, Ben, is to hold the other team to single digits in the quarter, and that has not happened at all as Lakota East just exploded. 23 points in the third so far.
Kenrick doing the dirty work down low once again. And Lakota East now in the bonus as he's able to knock down the first. At 16 points now in the quarter for Charlie Kenrick. Give him 19 on the night. And 5 seconds, can't connect on the second free throw, and Middleton just loses it. So that'll end the third quarter.
So Charlie Kenrick outscores the Comets in the third quarter. Not what they wanted, coming out with that lead at halftime, but Lakota East up 50-39 here in the GMC rivalry, and the Comets looking to regroup going into that fourth quarter. They're going to have to play pretty well on both sides of the ball, get something going offensively as well, as a lot of the teams gone quiet other than their 2 seniors in Middleton and Morton.
Yeah, and you look at this team on the night, and only 5 have scored. Kelling, Hanley, Manker, Morton, Middleton. Usually you see more balance on this team. There's no one that's got crazy point scoring numbers. Morton and Middleton do lead the team with 14 and 10 points per game respectively. But those kind of role players for Mason have just not stepped up tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten kind of worse for them throughout the game, and now it's going to be tough now. Down 11, and I'm sure Lakota East is going to stick to what they've done all game with Kenrick down low. And for the Comets, they'll finish out their season at Lakota West on Friday for their last regular season game.
Yeah, and Mason
of the year.
Lakota West won that one by 20, but since those two teams met, Mason's kind of been a little hotter, and Lakota West has lost some games. They're cold a little bit, so Dudukovic has been out with an injury, and I believe he'll be back for that game, but you never know coming off an injury how you're going to play.
Yeah, so that'll be an interesting matchup for the playoffs as well, maybe, or just give him a few minutes, just try to get him loose, but the last thing they want is another injury for their star.
Yeah. Cody's coming out of the break now. They're up 11 on the Mason Comets. Mason only has 1 timeout. Richards very frustrated with that third quarter, and you can tell by the timeout total. Kronagi's pull-up had a little bit of contact, but ultimately misses front iron, and the rebound goes Mason's way.
Yeah, clearly frustrated, wanted the foul call there, but he doesn't get it, and see if the Comets can use it here as they break the press, get it across half court.
Manker, a nice pass to Jack Olin, who's got a wide open lane. And
that's the first easy basket we've seen for the Comets in a long time. And
yeah, an underrated part of this game is the way Lakota East has stepped up their defense. You know, we talked about Kenrick on offense a lot, and I mean, that just happens a lot of times in sports. His defense is just underrated, but Malumba just jumped out of the building. That caught me off guard, Evan. I don't know how.
Yeah, we talked about his athleticism at the beginning of the game, but there's athleticism, and then there's athleticism.
Then there's that. Yeah.
Man. But Daniel Malumba only 6'1", and he got up there.
6'1", catching alley-oops in a half-court offense. Olam silences the crowd a little bit with a 3 of his own. Olam scoreless in the first 3 quarters. He's now got 5 points to start the 4th, and this deficit's cut to 8. And the Comets aren't out of this one. We saw what happened against Sycamore. They were down by, I believe, 12 or 14 at the end of the 3rd.
That was a loud 2 points for the Thunderhawks, but it's still 2 points. So Comets just got to remember that. Keep playing. Good job by Olam, not being phased at all by that alley-oop.
And a steal there. Malumba gets it taken away by Olam. Middleton down low. Draws the foul. That's another play that looked like, I don't know if there was a lot of contact. But we'll take a look at it again. Nate Adkins, and you can see the screen there from Peck, giving Malumba just enough room to get up there. And you can see the Lakota East faithful loving that one. Middleton can't connect on the first, and if you want to get back into this game, you've got to make your free throws.
Now trying to hit the second one.
0 for 2 trip for Todd Middleton. That's a killer to Mason's momentum. Peck now in no rush. Kronagi, a nice dish inside to Malumba, and this Lakota East team is sharing the ball very well. On the other end, Alex Morton. So that Lakota East defense out in transition has been a little bit sloppy. Kenrick, Adkins on the cut, and he draws the foul. So these Lakota East passes, getting the ball inside and kicking it out, are killing the Comets now. But if you're going to send anyone to the line, you do not want it to be Adkins if you're Mason. Fortunately, knocks down the first. But not a very good chance. Atkins is going to go 0 for 2 for the Lions. So he knocks down the second, gets that lead back up to 9 for Lakota East. Mason doesn't necessarily need to be in a hurry at all. There's 5:13 left on the clock, and it's still a 3-possession game, and Morton gets it to go. Peck inside, and that's a tough basket for the senior Kobe Peck. This Mason defense is losing any momentum that the Comets are getting, and it's one of those things where it's like every time Mason gets a good bucket inside, whether that's a 3, whether that's a tough basket or a tough 2, Lakota East is able to match it.
Yeah, and Peck's been more of a distributor all game, but a good job getting a layup there, taking what the defense gave him, and a really nice drive. And now off the timeout, Lakota East looking to close it out with 5 minutes remaining. Looking to pick up their 12th GMC win, and they have Hamilton for their final game of the year, a home game that they'll finish up on Friday.
So if you're Lakota East, you're liking the way the season finishes out heading into the tournament. That'll boost a lot of confidence as they go to play West Claremont. But coming out of the timeout, what does Mason have to do defensively to stop these Lakota East runs?
I mean, it's stop at number 11. I mean, Charlie Kenrick, just amazing 3rd quarter, playing well in the 4th quarter as well, and just you can't give him easy buckets. If Jack Kronagi's going to shoot NBA threes over you, like that's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. But the easy buckets to Kenrick inside, I mean, that's what's going to kill the Comets. So I'd just say stopping those down low passes and turnovers as well. Gotta at least get shots. I mean, you're not going to make them all, but can't turn it over. Might have a couple here and there, but got to consistently be getting the looks offensively.
Yeah, well, you got to start beating the press too if you're Mason offensively. Morton, luckily that one went out of bounds after it was stripped out of his hands. But Comets, the last home game for these seniors that they'll play on this Mason court. And Middleton, one of those seniors, is open in the corner and can't get it to go. Would have been a big three. But Lakota East now on the other side. Kobe Peck, welcome to the scoring party. He's got 7 now, 5 of those coming in the second half.
Yeah, a lot of teams would want to kind of play slow in this situation offensively, but not the Thunderhawks. They like to play at a fast pace, and Kobe Peck gets an easy layup there, and he's really starting to take over in this fourth quarter.
There's a foul down low. That one's coming on Mason. They're going to say a shove, and Richards is not happy with that call. You can see him discussing with the official there. I'm not sure where that foul is going to come. Middleton cutting through the lane. Yep, that's a foul. Shoved Bachman off of him a little bit. It's tough for the Comets because they haven't been able to get anything going offensively the last few possessions, but it's the right call.
Yeah, and the Lakota East will be in the double bonus the rest of the game, so the Comets need a foul. Will be a pretty good situation for the Thunderhawks, but a good job trying to tie Malumba, but a good timeout for the Thunderhawks. And both these teams have to be out of timeout soon, you'd think, with considering how many we've had in the second half.
Yep, Mason has 1 left, and after this one, Lakota East will have 3 left. So, good job by Kellen getting on the floor. Unfortunately, couldn't secure it. Maluma may have grabbed it there at the end, but it didn't look like he had possession for that ball a whole lot.
He looked like he hurt his leg a little bit there, but it looked like he was okay getting up, but just kind of grabbing onto his leg in the pile there, so hopefully he's all right.
So just over halfway through this fourth quarter, Comets trail by 11. Evan, what do they have to do to get back into this one?
Well, it's really just trying to get the easy looks. We've seen Middleton. We've seen the Comets be able to get threes. It'd be nice to get inside, drive a little bit. I'd like to see Alex Kelling get a few more shots. I mean, he's hit a couple threes earlier in the game. He's definitely capable of knocking down some more. Middleton as well. But the Comets don't have to just settle for threes. I mean, that hasn't been their strength all year. Good drive and get some easy layups inside. I'd like them to play inside out and use Alex Morton on the dribble drive. He can score or either get it out to shooters.
Yeah, and speaking of Morton, he just picked up his 4th personal foul. But 4 minutes left in the game, so they're not going to save him. If they want any chance of coming back into this game, they're going to need him on the court. And actually, they will check him out now, and he's a little frustrated with that, you can tell. But
yeah, I mean, that's mainly because his 2 fouls he got at the beginning of the third quarter that were both far away from the basket. A couple frustration fouls, and that comes back to hurt him on this game as Kendrick gets the offensive rebound, loses it, and tries to tackle Middleton, it looks like.
I think he was playing the wrong sport here. He's not at Purdue yet.
Yeah, he's probably looking forward to that, but yeah, still a Thunderhawk playing some basketball for now. So that'll be the 6th team foul, the first on Kendrick.
You know, that's impressive for a guy as big as he is that bangs around as much as he does down low. Only have 1 foul, and we're in the 4th quarter now. But Kelling, a lot of contact on his drive, and he finally gets the foul call. And he hasn't had a big performance tonight by any means, but you have to love the way the sophomore stepped up late in the season.
Oh yeah, he's improved every game. Like we said, a guy who wasn't even supposed to see any minutes at varsity. And yeah, it's been super impressed the way he's improved. You got to remember, he's only a sophomore playing varsity, and he's going to be a huge piece of this team for years to come now. And hats off to him for working hard and putting himself in this position.
Yep. He'll be at the line to shoot 1 and 1. Mason's now in the bonus. And he knocks down the first. That's the first time on the scoreboard for him since that 3 he knocked down in the first quarter. And he goes 2 for 2. So that lead cut down to 10 now. Mason's going to up the intensity a little bit with a 3/4 court press. 3:20 on the clock. Peck with a nice spin move inside. Tough basket for the senior Kobe Peck. And that's, you can send as many defenders as you want on that one, but that spin move really fooled the Comets and got Peck into a good position.
Peck is becoming what Kendrick was in the third quarter.
Yeah. And Alex Kelling finally knocks down his second three of the game and brings out his signature bow and arrow. We've been missing some bow and arrow in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Kelling really picking up after hitting those free throws. That's sometimes all you need. Get to the line, get a couple free throws, now get your confidence going.
And they're on the run. They have numbers now. They'll kick to Kelling again, who takes a three this time. His feet weren't really set. That was kind of a rush shot, but the offensive rebound goes to the Comets.
I see Kelling on the three. Kendrick a little bit late to box out, but still a tough three with a guy like Charlie Kendrick jumping out at you, but good job by Kelling, just holding his follow through, going through his normal shot and switches it there.
You know, I think part of his follow through now is pulling out that bow and arrow. I think if he didn't do that, maybe the shot wouldn't fall.
And it's all one motion.
Yep.
Goes up, puts his hand in the cookie jar, right to the bow and arrow.
Inbounding the ball now, Kelling guarding tightly by Malumba. I'd be surprised if they let him get an easy three off again. Hanley's been quiet all game and gets it inside. The kick to Middleton, and Middleton knocks down the three.
Kelling hits one, Middleton hits one, and just like that, a two-possession game, but 2 minutes to go. The Comets aren't going anywhere.
I'll tell you what, this looks a lot like the Sycamore game right now, right? I mean, it's Mason hit a couple of threes to pull it within 6. And, you know, 2 minutes doesn't sound like a lot, but there's a lot of possessions in that time right there. And if Mason could stretch this game out a little bit and get some help from Lakota East missing some free throws, as there was a block there on Middleton. Lakota East in the double bonus, and Kobe Peck knocks down the first.
And this overall, it's a pretty good free throw shooting team. Peck solid from the line, as well as Adkins.
Only goes 1 for 2. Morton able to grab it and almost throws it away. That was a close one. Middleton thought about the deep three. Has to pick up his dribble. 7-point deficit. And Morton, I don't know where he was looking on that one, but Lakota East on the break. And Kenrick is back again, gets that one to fall. He's up to 21 points on the night, and Mason wants a timeout after Lakota East's run.
Yeah, bad pass from Morton, little miscommunication. Then a nice dump off from Peck, doing it all day long to Kendrick, and that's his 21st point of the game, and he hasn't really taken a shot outside 2.1 feet all game to get his 21 other than a couple free throws.
Yep, and he's capitalized from the free throw line too. 4 for 5 on the night from the line.
And that's pretty impressive too. As a big guy, shooting free throws, usually something that he'd struggle with, but doing pretty good from the line as well.
Well, Kenrick's an athlete and he's a competitor, and you can tell that on the basketball court and on the football field. Coming out, there's the father of Nate Adkins, coaching this team up. Adkins has had a very successful run here at Lakota East, and it's not over yet. They're getting a lot of talent to come in through that school system. Nate Johnson obviously headed to Akron. It was a big loss for them. He was a key part of this Lakota East team for 3 straight years. But Mason's got to go here with 1:30 down 9. You get it in the hands of Kelling, which is what you want, but his floater won't fall and kind of pulls the rug underneath underneath Atkins, and Kelling takes a spill now. Peck again for 2 points on the drive, and now Kobe Peck has 8 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he only had 1 point going in that fourth quarter as well, as Menker just kind of has to launch one, and might be all but over here for the Comets.
Yeah, that 9 or 11 point deficit now, and under a minute to play. It's kind of that weird zone where you say, do you foul here or not? Because it's very unlikely, but you don't want to end the game. You want to extend it. But Kobe Peck, 3 defenders there, and Canley gets there, but if you're one of those defenders, you've got to commit.
Yeah, that inside finish for a guard over a taller defender works to perfection there, kind of shields himself from Hanley and doesn't allow his shot to be blocked. But he'll miss the first free throw, so pretty impressive for the Thunderhawks to do what they've done today without Coles and without Trey Perry, the guy who came in and started the game instead of Coles. So.
Yep, and I think for Lakota East, a lot of it was adjusting to playing without Perry, because at first it was a lot of, it was slow, and we want to thank our crew for everything that happened tonight. The wonderful director, Josh Semstrat behind the in the truck, and you know that reference. We say Josh Semstrat looks a lot like Joe Burrow. We can let our fans decide that one, but all the students and wonderful volunteers working here for ICRC TV tonight. Tremendous production put on. We had to deal with some adversity. One of the doors we needed to get some cables in was iced shut, so we got the axe, got the shovel, got the washer fluid, coincidentally, and we're able to put on a pretty good production after Kelling hits the 3 on the other end. Peck heads to the line, and he's struggled from the line tonight.
Yeah, if you ask a lot of people, I think they'd say that Joe Burrows is kind of the knockoff version of Josh Semstrat.
We were talking about that before the game, and I'd have to agree. It's like people like Joe Burrow a lot in the city of Cincinnati, but it kind of gets a bad taste in their mouth after you just see he's just an off-brand Josh Semstrat. Middleton, a deep 3 after a couple of handbacks, and that's going to be a foul, I believe, on Peck.
Thanks, guys.
So Morton will go to the line here for some late free throws. Just 21 seconds on the clock, and it'll be a 1-and-1 opportunity for the senior. He's had a pretty good career here in Mason Arena. Last year kind of came out of nowhere. That first game of the regular season last year, I don't know if you remember it, but 28 points against Western Hills. And ever since then, he's been a really consistent player as a junior and a senior. The second leading scorer behind GMC Player of the Year, Trey Killens, last season. And
yeah, he was supposed to be a good player for the Comets, no doubt, but not many people expect him to be as good as he's turned out to be.
And Malumba misses an easy one, and it goes out of bounds Mason's direction, but yeah, you got to mention a few more seniors had a great career here in this arena. Todd Middleton, we talked about. His is more unconventional. Didn't play basketball last year, but came back, and I think he'll tell you, and I think Mason fans will tell you, that's just a great decision for everyone. And then Cam Packard and Evan Ehlers were solid role players. Got some playing time this year on the varsity team, but that'll do it from this one. The Comets fall 69-60, and that'll do it from Mason Arena on this season. Another season wrapped up here in the arena, and up and down for the Comets, but they definitely had their moments. This one, they played a solid second quarter and first quarter, couldn't come out on top, but you know, you got to be excited going forward into this tournament.
Yeah, the future looks bright for the Comets, and the Thunderhawks are going to be excited to see what plays out starting the tournament next week. Both these teams have one more game on Friday, so final here from Mason Arena. The Thunderhawks win 69-60, taking their 7th straight game over the Comets.